Your best weapon as a reseller is your ability to sell items that other resellers can't, won't, or don't even know how to list. Keywords give you the ability to source and sell items that other resellers may not even know about, too. And that's why today we're going to show you how to use keywords to create value for your items. That way, when you're sourcing, you don't have to go off brand or sell through rate alone and open a whole new world of selling clothes online to you. Hi everyone, my name is Bethany.
And I'm Sean, Trash Panda number 2.
And we are
Trash Pandas Thrift.
We run a multi-six-figure reselling business, and on this channel, we show you all the secrets, tips, the experiences that we've had over the years so that you can start or grow your reselling business too.
Yes, we do.
And today, we're going to talk all about keywords and how it can help you in your reselling business. So, let's start from the ground up. What are keywords? Keywords, in so many different ways, are kind of like the currency for your listing. They are style-based keywords. There are keywords that have to do with an item's characteristics. It could have to do with the types of sleeves, the types of necks, the types of dress lengths. But more than that, the type of keywords that we're going to be talking about today, and the ones that are so inherently important, are style-based aesthetic keywords. So, if you've ever heard in the landscape of reselling, when you go on Depop or Poshmark or eBay, all of these really weird aesthetic keywords like what is gortcore, what is boho, what is grunge, that's what we're going to be talking about today, and it's a strategy that you can use to help sell your items that are either oversaturated or style-based items that can sell for a ton of money that you may not even know about.
Yeah, keywords are going to be your marketing toolkit for selling items online. And that's basically the most simple way of saying it, because a lot of resellers, when they're first getting into reselling, or even a lot further down their career and in their businesses, they focus a lot on what we all want and the aspirations of finding really high-end pieces and really good brands with really great sell-through rates. Unfortunately for ourselves, when we were living in Austin sourcing a lot, and also for a lot of you all across the country, it's very difficult to just continue to build a business past a certain point on just finding items with high sell-through rates or really great brands. So keywords are your marketing toolkit to selling items, like Bethany said, that either other resellers don't even know about or that other resellers can't sell.
Exactly. And honestly, it has been such a huge part of our business for years. It is the reason we were able to source at the Goodwill outlet, leave with a full cart, not of just items that I'm like, oh, I don't really want to list it, but items that I'm super, super excited to list, not just because they're these designer brand names, but because they are super on-trend styles that I already know I'm going to go home and list with great style aesthetic keywords, and it's going to sell for more than even market predicts.
Yep.
So let's talk about how keywords make us better resellers and what exactly do they do? How does this help your reselling business? So, in the simple of it, when you list your item online, the more eyes, the better. And that's exactly what keywords are going to help you do. There are so many different listings out there, especially for oversaturated brands. We've done this experiment a ton of times together in our business, and searching Free People Top on eBay does not give you a very good high sell-through rate. There are so many more Free People Tops listed than sold. But if you were to go into our business and search Free People Top, our business's sell-through rate of that same exact item was so much higher than market, and our average sales price was higher too. And the reason for that was those keywords. Number one, it makes your listing stand out from the pack. Especially when we're talking about these oversaturated brands that there might be so many different listings of them, a lot of them look the same. A lot of them don't have any defining characteristic in their listing. It's just exactly what the item is, the color, V-neck, short sleeve, that's it. But when you are breathing value into your item by using extra keywords, that is how not only one, are you getting more eyes to your listings, but more eyes equals more sales.
Yeah, I mean, so Bethany is the one who is very much so into clothing and styles and aesthetics, and obviously we run this business together, but this is Bethany's passion project. I'm very much more so the business-oriented part of the business where I'm always thinking about bigger picture things. And part of that is marketing. Part of that is using keywords. And an example that I like to use is when you're looking at a water bottle. What defines that water bottle when there's like basically all water is the same, right? Yes, some come from different springs, some come from glaciers, some are 16 times osmosis remixed, right? But at the end of the day, water is freaking water. And these marketing companies, they use different names and different styles of these keywords to sell you water. They use words like refreshing, like mountain fresh, or spring fresh, or spring-fed water, or, like I said, double or triple osmosis produced water, right? And these are all marketing companies using marketing terms and keywords to sell you water, even though it's just water. Right? So you're going to look at this free people top and you're going to look at the sell-through rate. And yes, there's going to be hundreds, if not thousands of items just like yours listed. And they're all going to say free people top, size, color, and maybe the style number or the style that free people actually use when they put the item out, right? But your job is to look at that same item and think to yourself, how can I market this item using current styles and trends to make it sell completely differently, look like a completely different item than the rest of the market, even though it's the exact same item? You're selling water that is the exact same water in a different and unique way by utilizing keywords and marketing terms.
Exactly. I like that water too. I'd be more willing to buy that water.
Right. And
that's why they're more willing to buy that free people top. It's all like this brain trick, honestly. It's you thinking that it's a different item than it is. When the buyer looks at your item and has a great title with strong keywords, aesthetic style keywords, versus another one that's just free people top size small ruffle.
Right.
What are they more likely to buy to begin with?
And a great example that's very recent, and we're going to dive into some other examples soon, but Barbie, when Barbie came out, anything that was pink and extraordinarily feminine started having the word Barbie added as a keyword. And a lot of resellers missed out on that 2 or 3 month trend where they could have taken a lot of their pink items that could have just been a regular pink embroidered top or a regular pink top with speckles or sparkles on it, and they could have added the Barbie or Barbiecore keyword, and they didn't, and they missed out on that 2 or 3 month cultural trend that would have sold that item either faster or for more money than it would have if they just used the word pink.
Exactly.
Right?
And you just hit the nail on the head. So we just talked about how using keywords can help you sell oversaturated items that maybe other resellers won't, they don't know how to list. That's the other trick to this. It can also help you sell it for more. You can sell it for above market. You're giving your item a different set of value. It is now worth more because of those keywords that you've added onto your listing, to your description. And not only that, you don't only have to use keywords to sell branded items, things that maybe are oversaturated. It introduces a whole new world, and one that, Sean already said, it's my passion. It's what I love. Style-based sourcing.
Yeah.
And style-based sourcing based on current trends, current keywords that are trending, current style aesthetics, that is a whole other lucrative world of reselling that is honestly my favorite. I love finding a great high-end brand. I love finding a designer when we're digging in the bins, but nothing gets me more excited than when I pull out a jacket and it's patchwork and it's colorful and it's beautiful, and all I'm thinking of in my head is I know so many different keywords that this bad boy, it's going to sell for $100 way quicker than one of the bread and butter brands that I found that could sell for $30.
Right. And another important thing too is when you're thinking about those keywords, you really have to think about the item that you're picking up too, which we're going to talk a little bit about, or actually the opposite. When you're sourcing, using your keyword knowledge to think about items in a different way. When you're picking up a free people top, I'm going to go back to that example, you can look at that free people top and not look at sell-through rate. You can look at that free people top and see it as boho, and see it for the cool tassels on it, and see it for its unique, distinct features that you now know the words and the styles and the ways to then go ahead and market that piece.
And that's a whole different type of sourcing. And yes, it is slightly more art-based, right? Like the type of reselling that we excel at, we've always said, is this interesting combination of science and art. there is a science to using keywords, and there is an art too for having that eye when you're sourcing, to be able to look at it, to see in your head all of those keywords that you can use, all of those styles that you can observe in that piece that you know are valuable. It's more than just searching a brand, seeing a sell-through rate, and deciding whether or not you're confident you could sell it in 90 days. It's, what can I add to this piece? Whether it's my knowledge of keywords, it's my knowledge of trends, it's my knowledge of styles, and there's so much more to it that we can sell. And I always think about this because we have been reselling and sourcing at the Goodwill outlet for years. And you always hear this talk about competition increases, and there's always so many more people at the Goodwill outlet, and look, now it's a trend, and this is that. All of this is just noise, especially when there is such an abundance of clothing, not just of great brands, but of great styles.
And two, sorry for interrupting you, and two, this is especially important if you're not going to, this is just as important if you're going to Goodwill outlet, but I would say it's just as important, if not more, if you're shopping at stores. Because there are sections of stores where they have jeans, where they have shirts, and you're going and you're looking and they're pricing all of the brands very high. So you can't purchase an item for $12 or $15 and flip it for $30 and it make a lot of sense because you're not profiting enough. But if you can look at items that may not have that brand name, that may not be in the kind of a fit, the knowledge of the employees that are pricing these items, and you can get it for maybe $4 or $5 and still turn that into $25, $30, $35 or even more, that's where you're becoming a ninja of reselling, and you're really getting the edge over the other resellers who are just passing right by that item because they can't see how that item could be valuable, but it is.
So whether you're shopping at the Goodwill outlet, and especially if you're shopping at stores, I didn't even think of that. That is such a great point. I mean, we're always thinking about how to adapt, right? In a changing world, in a changing reselling world. And yes, thrift store prices are going up, and so can your knowledge. And that is entirely the way to be an employee who's picking out every Lululemon and pricing it at $15. Okay, I don't need that Lululemon for $15 if I know I can buy this dress for $5 or $6 and resell it for $30 or $40. So yes, not everything we're talking about today will sell for $30, $40, $50. That's not entirely the point. It's more so looking at it as this well-rounded set of skills that you can combine all together. I have all of these great knowledge of brands that have a high sell-through rate, of brands that are in demand that sell well. That is one part of it. And then this whole other part that you add to that will only make you as a stronger reseller.
It's not a replacement, it's an addition to.
Yeah.
Because yes, you're going to be able to find pieces other people wouldn't be able to sell and sell it for $25, $30, $40, $50. But on top of that, you can take a Free People top. I keep going back to it, but we keep talking about it. You can take a Free People top that might have a sell-through rate. Maybe it has a good sell-through rate, right? Maybe it is one of those cooler styles that people are picking up, and you can sell it for $25, $30, and you add some keywords, and it might go for $40 or $50 because now you're reaching a broader audience, more eyes on that item, more people in desire and demand for that item, and you'll be able to sell it more because they're looking at that item not only as a Free People top, but as a Free People boho top with XYZ features that adds value to it.
One thing I was thinking of the other day is there was just this pair of Patagonia hiking pants, right? This ripstop fabric Patagonia pants. How would I list that? Well, I could go the traditional route. I could be like, yeah, this is Patagonia. It's going to sell itself, right? I can just put Patagonia hiking pants, men's medium, button, cargo, ripstop. What if I added the term Gorp Core? Gorp Core is an awesome example of what's trending right now and how that could take this Patagonia hiking pants, which, yeah, they're great on their own, add in that keyword that's going to give us so many more eyes, and maybe you'll sell for more.
Maybe list it for $10 higher.
Maybe you'll sell faster. Gorp Core plus Patagonia, Free People plus boho plus cottage core, more value. Anything that you can add together creates more value, and that is your biggest weapon as a reseller.
For sure.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about how to do this. So how to use keywords to sell your items. So we talked about a bunch today, and the book goes on, right? Like there are so many different keywords that you can use. They go in and out of style, although there is a foundation of really great keywords you could use. We talked about a lot of them today. We said gorpcore, boho, cottagecore. We could go on and on. That is the first step. Study your keywords. Your knowledge is your weapon in being able to do this. My favorite way is honestly just consuming content from other resellers, looking at other people's listings. How are other people listing items at their performing well? What words are they using? When I look up YouTube videos, what keywords are trending? What's trending for spring, for summer 2024? What types of dresses? What are they marketing that as? The actual brands themselves, when they're listing things, retail I'm talking right now, right? When they're putting things, their new stock for the summer, what are they calling it? What are they describing it as? Because that is exactly what influences the reseller, the secondhand market.
Yeah, and I know it's frustrating to have to continue to do research and update your knowledge and all of these things. I'm very well aware of that. And the reality is that, no, you don't have to. And you can be on the same level as everyone else, competing in the same game that everybody else is playing in. That's up to you. The reality is in any industry, in any market, because now, as a reseller, part-time or full-time, you are a business owner. Mm-hmm. You are running a business, and to be a business owner in a modern market that's evolving so quickly, it is your responsibility to do the research, to have the knowledge that other people don't have, to be ahead of the trends, not to wait until 6 months after the trend began and then hop on the bandwagon and then you're like, oh wow, I didn't even realize that. It's still helpful, right? It's still helpful to have all that knowledge, and it's important to have that knowledge, but the last thing that you want to do is be selling items and using keywords that have already been used, abused, and they're on their way out. You want to have your finger on the pulse of keywords that are current, that are making sense today. And a lot of the same items that we were selling a few years ago with those keywords are still being used today, but a lot of those keywords aren't. And there are still some resellers who are watching videos from 2017 with keywords, and they're using those keywords, and some are just irrelevant at this point. So it's your job to keep your finger on the pulse of the market. And I know that's a little bit frustrating sometimes. Put a podcast on, a YouTube video on, just follow resellers on Instagram like us who post content around these kinds of things. Ask questions, be knowledgeable. That is your edge.
Yeah, like we plan on putting out so many more videos about this because it's something that we're so passionate about. It's what helped grow our business, and we know it could be so helpful to other resellers. So we're going to be doing deep dives on so many different ones too. Like we plan on doing a deep dive on cottagecore, on gorpcore, on ones I haven't even began to talk about yet because there's just so many. And like you said, keeping your finger on the pulse, it's everything. That is everything. We have always said knowledge is your weapon. Knowing the keywords that you can actually utilize, that is a first step. And while it is constantly changing, trends come, trends go, there's always keywords that have been, honestly, we've been using them for the past, 4 years? Mm-hmm. Some of them are they're strong.
They have staying power.
A lot of them do have really, really good staying power. And once you know them, you know how they sell for you, right? Like for us, maybe we like boho, we like cottagecore stuff. And you sell really, really great darker pieces, witchy dresses. We'll talk about that more soon. If that's what sells well for you, that's the type of aesthetic, the type of keyword that your eyes should dart to when you're sourcing.
Anything related to that keyword.
Exactly. That is how you use that keyword. Let's talk a little bit more about that. I just said a witchy dark dress. Okay, where do we get there? How do I take this item that is, it's just this tangible thing and put this intangible label on it, this keyword like witchy? I'm looking at this dress. It's beautiful, right? I can draw it all out for you. It's got black, it's velvet, it's long, it's this long, beautiful velvet gown. It has these flare sleeves, lace embroidery all throughout. I've been looking at pictures in my free time, not sourcing, at witchy clothing, witchy dresses. I'm immediately looking at this dress. I'm like, okay, flare sleeves, black lace, that is witchy. When someone is going to be searching on eBay, on Depop, on Poshmark for witchy, my item is exactly the type of item they're going to be hoping to see. And that's how I know I need to use that witchy keyword.
Yeah, and one thing I want to let Bethany continue because she is the keyword queen. I want to let Bethany continue to talk a little bit more about that. I do also want to tell you guys, if you watched our most recent video that Bethany put out about our numbers from 2023, we did a little over $280,000 in sales. And I would venture to say that 60-ish% of that was items that we were using mainly based on style and keywords. It was not all brands and bolos and things like that. It was all using items that sold with names and keywords like witchy, like boho, like cottagecore, because we're adding value to them. And I wanted to bring that back for a second because I think it's important to say this is important.
Yeah.
This is probably the most important video that I think we can ever put out early on in our YouTube career because of the value that keywords will bring to your business, the keywords themselves and the knowledge of those keywords.
Yeah, 100%. And this is something, honestly, before I even started delving into learning more keywords, learning how to do this, it's something that we were already doing. So if you find yourself gravitating towards really nice styles that you see when you open your phone, when you're looking at free people, you have one part of it. It's only two parts. If you can train your eye either way to be looking at style-based pieces, all you need to do is to increase your knowledge of those keywords that you can use so that it can find the right eyes. And if you're like, okay, I'm not really sure on that part, I'm not really too sure what styles are in, how to identify that, work backwards. Work from the keywords that are doing really well right now. Things like we just talked about, like witchy, like gorpcore, and then okay, what are the characteristics of this item so I can visually observe it when I'm sourcing and I know I can pick it up, take it home, use that keyword, and sell it for more.
And the next point that we're going to dive into is actually using the keywords in your titles and descriptions.
Yes.
So a lot of the time people will look at an item, okay, you've got the first part down, you know some keywords, you've done your research, now you know what to source and you know how to add value using these keywords. Now you've actually got to use them. So a lot of the time when you look at eBay titles or titles across different platforms, a lot of people will have the title in whatever structure they so please, and they'll have really unimportant characteristics about the item. Short sleeve, long sleeve, zippers, pockets, obviously midi and max address is important, but they'll have some of these different descriptions of the item being put into the title that aren't as valuable as if you were to use boho or cottagecore or witchy or gorpcore, some of the keywords Bethany's using. Obviously, depending on the item, you need to use the right keywords. And the other thing is too, a lot of the time they'll only use one and they'll say, well, I did it. I used a keyword. Yes, that keyword is definitely going to help. I mean, marginally more than not using any keywords at all. So you are already way ahead of the game by using a keyword.
Yes.
But what Bethany likes to say is to keyword vomit all over your title and your description. Use as many keywords as you can possibly think of that will fit into that item because it cannot hurt you to use those keywords. There is no keyword police. Another of Bethany's favorite sayings. There are no keyword police. No one's coming for you. Use as many as possible, as many as you think can fit into that item. It does not matter if you're unsure. If you're unsure, use it anyway. Try it, right? You're probably not going to use gorpcore for a pink dress, right? That's very unlikely.
Yeah.
But point being, if you think it can fit into that aesthetic and you've done your research and you have the knowledge, which I'm assuming you have, use as many as you believe fit into that.
Yes.
Use the strongest possible keywords in your title and description as you possibly can, and your tags if you're on Depop. That's another important thing too.
100%. Sean is so on the money. You get 80 characters on eBay. Every single one of them need to be used and not filled up with color or sleeve type or neck type with strong keywords. Ideally, aesthetic keywords or keywords that people are searching for, like embroidered, boho. The list goes on. It is so, so, so important to use all of these in combination. Because Sean's right, it's not just one. Using one, yes, it's going to improve your listing impressions, your traffic, maybe give you more eyes, leads to a sale. But it's not just one. It's the combination of all of the different keywords that you can learn, all of the different aesthetics, pulling value, keyword by keyword, and vomiting it back onto that listing. Ideally, you want the strongest ones in your title. You want those bad boys in your title. And whatever doesn't fit, and you want your title again in your description. So that description is just another chance for you to show If you like this type of aesthetic, you're looking for cottagecore, this is it. This is the dress. It's in my description. It's in my title, 100%. And that is how you're making the use out of those keywords. You need it. You need those strong keywords in your title.
Absolutely. And the point is you want as many people in different audiences and different segments looking at that piece. So if you're using, for example, cottagecore and boho, you now are not just using them in conjunction, which already makes it stronger, but you're taking the audience that's looking up cottagecore and you're taking the audience that's looking up boho, and now they're competing for the views on your item. They're both looking at your item. They're both now part of your audience. So it's so important that you're continuously expanding your knowledge and using as many strong keywords as possible.
100%. I couldn't agree more. This is something we are super, super passionate about. Again, it has been the crux of our business for years. And honestly, I know so many of us are in places where sourcing isn't always like, I can find these designer brands. I find all of these great high sell-through rate items. And even if you are missing out on a whole world of opportunity of really great style-based sourcing, really great keywords that could help your store so much more go to the next level of reselling.
Yeah, and I do, you might have one or two more points, but if not, I do want to say something that's really, it impacted me pretty recently. We have a group where we teach other resellers how to resell items online across different platforms. And somebody in that group asked us about a keyword. So we talked about that keyword in a call. I forgot what the keyword was. It might have been cottagecore, boho, or one of those more feminine, 1600s, you know what I mean, World Fair kind of words. But anyways, we talked about it. And then a couple days later, we just had an outpour of people from the group talking about how they just added that keyword into their listing and items were moving like hotcakes. Just one keyword. And it's so amazing the power of just expanding your knowledge and utilizing these marketing tools. It's like when you go to the store and you're looking in another example could be you're looking at eggs. Right, they got the regular eggs, the cheapest ones most likely. Then they've got the brown eggs, and they have they're brown eggs, and maybe they're organic. And then they have the free-range, cage-free, brown, organic, farm-fresh eggs. Right? The only farm-fresh eggs you're gonna get is if you actually go to a farmer's market, or you get it directly from a farmer, right? But they're using these keywords, even if they're just, even if to them cage-free means that there's a 5x5 instead of a 3x3. They're still using these keywords, right? Because to them, it's true, it's authentic. And that fits into what we're talking about, which is using the keywords, even if it kind of fits, to throw it in there because people are still looking for features and aesthetics that fit that vibe, that keyword, that aesthetic, right? So use as many as you can. Don't look at reselling as just reselling clothes. Reselling is a business, and businesses market. You are a marketer too.
Yes, exactly. You are creating the market for your item. We've talked about how to search comps on the market for different brands, for different items. What if you could create this whole other market for your item by inputting those keywords? We don't got eggs, right? But we do have really, really great clothes. And yes, there are some great loyal fans of different brands that are just coming for that. There is a whole new generation of secondhand clothing shoppers, and the market is growing.
Rapidly.
It is huge. And they're not just looking for brands. They're looking for styles. They're looking for vintage. They're looking for pieces that fit their clothing aesthetic. And what are those words? The same keywords that you need to put in your listings, because that's what they're trying to embody in what they wear and what they purchase secondhand. The secondhand market is absolutely exploding, and the way to actually get in on that as brands get more oversaturated is appealing to those customers, the ones who are coming for that look, for those aesthetics, for vintage, for unique. They want to look one of a kind. Yep. And that's why we always say the more unique your item, the better. I don't care if there's no brand. I don't care. If I walk into the bins and I pick up, again, that patchwork jacket, I don't care if it's homemade. I would still rather sell that for $100 than a pair of Chubby's shorts for $30. It is everything.
By not using keywords too, you're basically like the people pre-internet when internet was first coming around and everybody was saying to themselves, "Oh, that's kind of a fad. Let the young people do that thing. Let the young people mess with internet." Or a few years ago when everybody was saying that TikTok was only going to be for 6-year-olds and it was such a stupid thing to be on. And look at how many influencers have blown up on TikTok from all different kinds of industries, lawyers, gyms, and fitness influencers, and all these different people, right? It's because what they're doing is they're realizing a trend and they're using that app that internet, whatever that thing might be, to use that to their advantage. And the reality is, like Bethany said, Gen Z, millennials are looking for styles and trends and aesthetics. They're not just looking for Madewell jeans. They're looking for flare leg. They're looking for wide leg. They're looking for boho, right? There's so many things we can talk about. But the most important thing is that you understand the importance of keywords, you start studying, and you go and you apply this knowledge today.
Sean is a perfect example. He just spouted like 5 different on-trend things that are trending right now. Sean's not wearing wide or flare leg jeans.
No, I'm not.
He's sourcing mostly women's clothing with me in this business. He is half of our sourcing team. It is because he is so in the know that we have these conversations, that I show him what I'm looking at, that we teach each other on these style aesthetics, that he is a perfect example of you don't have to be the most stylistic fashionista on anything in women's clothing. He sure isn't, and I love him to death, but he doesn't care about women's clothing in his personal life. It is that knowledge that propels him to be that good reseller, to be that good business person, to be that good marketer. You don't have to like it. Yes. I don't love wearing certain things that we love selling, right? Like, yes, I'm a big fan of cottagecore, and that's why we talk about it so much, but I'm not that big fan of witchy or grunge, and that's a huge aesthetic that we source for too. It's one that I'm just as knowledgeable about.
Yeah, and it's funny because it is your business. It is my business. It's my business because it's my business.
Exactly.
Right? I need to know about it because I need to know about it. Not just because, I could care less about the styles and trends that people are wearing on TikTok and Instagram Reels, but I need to care about those things for my business because if I don't know about it, somebody else will, and they'll take up that market share that I could have very well used in my own listings. And the beautiful thing is, I said market share, but there really isn't a market share to take over. We can all use the keywords. We can all use these things to sell our items. And I there's an expression that I heard a few years ago. It's everybody always says treat people the way that you would want to be treated. That's wrong. It's treat people how they want to be treated. Not how you would want to be treated because they might want to be treated differently. Right? Stop selling to people based on what you already know and your predisposed knowledge and based on the things that are in your realm of reality, right? You got to sell to people the items that they want, using the words they use, using the language they speak, not the language maybe you're so used to speaking. And I only know so much about that because I don't know anything. I mean, yes, I know a lot about women's clothes now, and I'm constantly learning, but it's not something I'm sitting there on my free time thinking about. Because it's not that important to me in my life, but I need to make it important to me for my business, and you do too.
Yeah, I couldn't say it any better. I'm just looking at you. I'm so in admiration every time he uses every single one of those words because it's just like, it is my passion, and if it's your business, it is your passion too. You know, no matter what you like to wear, no matter what you like to sell, this is such a huge opportunity to use that weapon as a reseller, to be able to sell anything when you walk in somewhere, a thrift store, the Goodwill outlet, and the racks are clean and the bins are picked through. You can always rely on yourself, knowing that you could still walk in there and pick out value, pick out valuable items, and you can still pick out money. And if you can do that when others can't, it's you versus you. You are the best that you can be. When you have that knowledge, you don't have to worry about anyone else near you. Put your blinders on and just rely on your own knowledge, that keyword strength, and your own knowledge of what sells best. And that is the biggest weapon, our biggest secret that we've learned as resellers. And
to recap how you can actually do this, get the knowledge is number one. Number two is start applying that knowledge to your titles and your descriptions. Well, actually, sorry. Number two is sourcing items with that newfound knowledge. So going out and actually implementing what you're learning, going out and looking for styles and aesthetics that fit into the research you've been doing. And number three is implementing titles and descriptions and tags, utilizing strong keywords and as many as you can throw at the wall that will stick.
I want to see your keyword vomit titles.
Yes.
That's what I want to see.
Anything else you got?
No, that's it.
All right, well, we really appreciate you guys watching this video. Thank you so much. This is such an important topic for us because, like I said, of that 280, 50 or 60% of that 280,000 that we did last year really came from just style-based items alone. And then all of the rest, not another part of it, all of the rest, we utilized strong keywords. So I can't even give you data as to whether or not it was just the sell-through rate or the brand. We still use strong keywords, and in our experience, that's the reason why those items were selling in less than 90 days and why they were selling for more than market would predict.
100%.
So you can do the same thing in your business, and we appreciate you guys watching. Why don't you tell them to subscribe?
Haha, why don't you go ahead and subscribe to Trash Pandas Thrift. If you are like in over your head, you're doing your research on these keywords and you just feel a little bit stuck, don't worry. We plan on putting out deep dives on some of my favorites, the ones that are trending right now that you need to be using in your listings. Make sure you subscribe so that you can see those when we make those. We're uploading them as fast as we can, and we cannot wait to share more.
And we have so much more content just coming out about reselling and how we've grown our reselling business in the past couple of years together, and really how you can take this and you can run with it, whether you want to go part-time or full-time. We're here and we're going to keep putting out content. So thank you guys so much for watching. We appreciate you. We're Trash Pandas Thrift, and
see you next time.
We'll see you on the next one.
Thanks so much, guys.